So as you can see, the blackberries are well underway putting out new leaves and just about to start blooming. Let me show you what I'm doing to fertilize them, to give them that kick in the pants they need to really put out the leaves and the blooms that you need if you're going to have a successful blackberry crop. So first of all, these are Prime Arc Freedom berries. These in blue tubs are Prime Arc Freedom. They are in wicking tubs. I've shown you how to make wicking tubs. Some of you learned from Mr. Leon. I learned from Mr. Leon. I've also got some tubs that I kind of changed the design of. I call them a hybrid tub. I'll have links below the video as to how to build these tubs and what to expect from these tubs as you're building them, and how to plant. I've got just an extensive playlist on wicking tubs and earth boxes and other wicking type containers. But these are Prime Arc Freedom blackberries, which are my favorite berry so far. They do a marvelous job of putting on nice, big, sweet berries. They do a great job of reproducing themselves. All these canes you see in here in these tubs are from last year. All those came up last year, so they're the floor cane. They were last year's primocane. There are floor canes this year. And because they're a primocane variety, they did put out some berries the first year. They do put out some berries, not a lot, but some berries on their primocanes, their first year canes. These are the second year for these. No primocanes have come up yet. It's still way too early. It's the very first day of March. So everything you see here are floor canes from last year. And they're starting to bud out, starting to produce those leaves. And I see a few blooms down there, and we will start fertilizing with what has been successful for me in the past. So there are several ways to fertilize, and I'm going to show you one way, and that's with the water soluble that I do in the spring and I do throughout the year, maybe once a month or something like that. But there's also another way that I use granular fertilize, and I'm going to use both of them today, and I'll show you what I'm going to do, and I'll tell you why I'm using both of them today. So again, this is 20-20-20. It's a balanced fertilizer, water soluble from Haas Tools. I highly recommend this for vegetables. I put it on fig trees, fruit trees of all kinds. I put it on blackberries, and I'm going to put about, this is a Miracle Grow scoop, and that's about 1.5 tablespoons. And I'm going to put about 1.5 tablespoons right on top. Now, a secondary way to do this would be to get a funnel, put it down the funnel, and then water down the funnel. I have done that many, many years, and it works great. We've got some hard rain coming in the next 2 or 3 days. I don't want to fill up the container because normally I'll put this in there, rinse it out, and water until it starts coming out the weep hole. I don't want to do that because I'm putting fertilizer in here, and I don't want that fertilizer to get rinsed completely out once we get a heavy rain. If this container's full, then I've got a problem with some of that fertilizer possibly washing out the bottom. So I'm going to put about 1.5 tablespoons. Why don't we put 2 tablespoons? That's just about a half of one there. So 2 tablespoons of this 20-20-20 right on top. I'm going to come back in a minute and water it in real good, but not enough to where I'm going to fill this tub up, fill the reservoir up on the bottom, because again, we've got rain coming. If we didn't have rain coming, that's what I would do. I'd go ahead and fill it, water it real well from the top to make sure that fertilizer soaks down in there. That's what you want. That's why I'm watering from the top. Make sure the fertilizer soaks down in there, but not so much to where I'm actually filling up the tub, and then today I get a hard rain and it washes some of that fertilizer out. So trying to do a dance here with Mother Nature, give it enough water to dissolve the fertilizer and get it down into the roots where it's needed, but not enough water to where the rain that's coming will wash it out, wash some of this fertilizer out. So that's one way I'm doing it on this tub, and on all these tubs is fertilizing on the top with 20-20-20 water soluble, and then I'm going to water it in. But let me show you what else I'm going to do and why I'm going to do it. So what I have in here is 10-20-10. Some people say it's hard to find 10-20-10, but 10-20-10 gives you that middle number, that phosphorus. We want leafy growth. We want plenty of nitrogen to get those leaves, those shoots growing, and to bring up the new canes, the new primocanes for next year. But we also want that middle number to be high because we're fixing to start blooming, and that middle number gives you some bloom. So what I'm gonna do, in about 3 different places, I'm gonna put just a little bit of this, kind of dig it in. Again, 10-20-10 in about 3 spots. I don't think I'm over fertilizing because the 20-20-20 is very gentle, and the 10-20-10 is just going to take a while to dissolve because it's granular. In about 3 different places, I'm gonna put about a tablespoon and a half in each place. Tablespoon and a half in 3 to 4 places. As I water the blue fertilizer, the 20-20-20 in, it will also be watering this in. We'll settle down, get through some of these leaves and mulch and stuff on the top, and we'll get down to the soil. And then the rain will help that also dissolve that 10-20-10. So the 20 number, the phosphorus number, 10-20-10, is for blooms. These are fixing to start blooming. In fact, I've got 2 or 3 blooms I'll show you in just a second. And it's nice to see them. It's a little early maybe, but nice to see them nonetheless. But I'll get this watered in. I'm gonna do these to all my containers. I've got 10 containers here with blackberries in them. So don't over fertilize, but you definitely need to fertilize. Now, you know, did I over fertilize? I don't know. I may have came a little close for this early in the year, but you've got a lot of growth here, and that growth needs to be fed. All those little green shoots are looking for dinner, and they need something to eat. Also, if you have your berries or fruit trees in containers, if you haven't had a wet winter, then you need to be watering right now too. So these, because they're blooming, because they're really starting to put out, they really need some water. So if you're not getting much rain, then you need to amend those containers with some water, even in the middle of winter if you're not getting enough rain to to fill them up on occasion. You want that reservoir to be reasonably full at most times, and therefore you get that wicking action, and it'll feed those plants. So feed them with fertilizer, water them, and you can feed them 2 different ways throughout the growing season, which would be through the summer probably, because these are primocanes and they're going to put on berries just about all summer long. Throughout the growing season, I will do that fertilization program, or at least I'll do one or the other. I'll do the 20-20-20 or the a granular in 2 or 3 spots, 3 or 4 spots, something like that. About at least once a month. I like to do it once a month, and I found that that's how you get the best results from berries. But after these berries make from these canes here, what you're doing is fertilizing the new canes coming up. You want them strong, you want them big, and that's how you get bigger, stronger, more erect canes for next year that will hold up well to wind and the weight of the fruit on them. So fertilize your blackberries. It is time, or at least it's time down here. When you start to see just the first little doodad come out like that, I would start fertilizing. Now, it's also the best time right now to spray for rust and fungus. I have not done that yet, so I'm not preaching to me, I'm preaching to you. Well, I'm preaching to both of us, but I have not done that yet. But a great time right now, before they start blooming, is to spray for your funguses and for rust and such as that. So, and you'll need to do that when a rain is not expected in the next few days. So, will I come back in and spray mine since they're starting to bloom? I don't know. I might not, but we'll just have to see about that. If the blooms I have are early, and that's about all I'm going to get, I probably will come back in here after the rain and spray, and I'll show you that if I do. So fertilize, water, get your berries going. It's about time. In the South, it's about time. All right, we're gone.